Welcome back to Speak English Easy. I'm your host, and today we're diving into something that affects millions of English learners worldwide: building real confidence when speaking English. If you've ever felt nervous about speaking English, or wondered why you can understand it but struggle to speak fluently, this episode is for you.
That's right. Today we'll explore practical ways to overcome speaking anxiety and develop genuine fluency. Let's jump right in with a conversation that might sound familiar to many of you.
Hey Mike, I've been thinking about something. I've been studying English for years, but I still feel terrified when someone asks me to speak.
Oh, I totally get that feeling. You know what's interesting? Most people can read and write English pretty well, but when it comes to speaking, they freeze up completely.
Exactly! It's like my brain just stops working. I know the words, but they won't come out of my mouth properly.
I think the main issue is that we're taught English like it's a subject to memorize rather than a skill to practice. We spend hours learning grammar rules, but barely any time actually talking.
That's so true. In my school, we focused on getting good grades on tests, but nobody taught us how to have real conversations.
Right? And here's what I've noticed. People are afraid of making mistakes. But think about it. When you learned your native language as a child, you made countless errors, and nobody judged you for it.
That's a great point. So, what do you think is the solution?
Well, first, we need to change our mindset. Instead of aiming for perfection, we should focus on communication. If someone understands what you're trying to say, you've succeeded.
I like that approach. What else would you suggest?
Practice in low-pressure situations. Start by talking to yourself in the mirror, then gradually work up to conversations with friends or language exchange partners.
Speaking of practice, I remember one time I was at a coffee shop and the barista asked me a simple question in English. I panicked and couldn't respond properly, even though I knew exactly what she was asking.
That happens to everyone. The key is not to let those moments discourage you. Each awkward interaction is actually a learning opportunity.
You're absolutely right. I've also noticed that when I'm relaxed and not overthinking, my English flows much more naturally.
Exactly! Confidence comes from practice, not perfection. The more you speak, the more comfortable you become with the rhythm and flow of the language.
What about vocabulary? Sometimes I feel like I don't know enough words to express complex ideas.
Here's a secret. Native speakers don't use fancy vocabulary in everyday conversations. They use simple, common words effectively. It's better to say something simple and clear than to struggle with complicated words.
That's really reassuring. So it's more about using what you know well rather than trying to impress with big words?
Absolutely. And remember, conversation is interactive. If you don't know a word, you can describe it, ask for help, or use gestures. Communication isn't just about perfect grammar and vocabulary.
What a fantastic conversation. Now, let's break down some key insights that can help you build speaking confidence.
First insight: progress over perfection. Don't aim to speak like a native speaker immediately. Focus on being understood and communicating your ideas clearly.
Second insight: practice in safe spaces. Before jumping into high pressure situations, practice with yourself, friends, or in language learning communities where people are supportive and understanding.
Third insight. Embrace mistakes as learning tools. Every error is data that helps your brain understand the language better. Native speakers make mistakes too.
Fourth insight, use simple language effectively. You don't need a massive vocabulary to communicate well. Master the basics and use them confidently.
And finally, think in English. Try to form thoughts in English rather than translating from your native language. This helps with fluency and natural expression.
Let's explore some useful phrases from today's conversation. I totally get that feeling. This means you understand and relate to someone's experience completely. My brain just stops working. A casual way to say you become confused or unable to think clearly in a stressful situation. Focus on communication. Prioritize being understood rather than being grammatically perfect. Low pressure situations. Comfortable, relaxed environments where you don't feel stressed or judged.
Remember, learning these phrases in context helps you remember and use them naturally in your own conversations.
That's all for today's episode of Speak English Easy. Remember, building confidence in speaking English is a journey, not a destination.
Start small, practice regularly, and be patient with yourself. Every conversation is a step forward, regardless of how it goes.
If you found this episode helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel. We're here to make your English learning journey easier and more enjoyable.
Until next time, keep practicing and keep speaking.
See you in the next episode of Speak English Easy.